Hi, everybody. My name is Ayush Joshi. I'm a PhD student at the Earth and Environmental Sciences Department, and I'm currently doing my research at the UT Arlington Luminescence Lab. So, in this brief recording, I'm going to talk about this study, basically. So, in this study, which I'm presenting here, we're trying to reevaluate the seismic hazard in Southern California. Southern California is a very interesting region because, especially for geologists, because it's seismically really active and the fault activity is really complex here. And as I say so, I would like to draw your attention to panel number 2, figure 1. So here you can see that an intact San Andreas fault in the Coachella Valley region gets divided into multiple strands as you move further northwest in this direction. And whenever an intact fault gets divided into multiple strands, it becomes really complicated situation uh, because the slip which was initially getting transmitted along an intact strand now gets partitioned along multiple strands and becomes really important to understand what percentage of slip is passing through each of these strands because that directly affects the seismic hazard of the places which lie in the vicinity of these fault strands. Now, the long-standing debate in this region has been between the Mission Creek strand and the Banning strand, which are north and south of each other. And the question is, which of these strands is active? Is it the Mission Creek strand or is it the Banning strand? Or to rephrase the question, which of the strands is more active? Is it the Mission Creek strand or the Banning strand? So we believe that the Mission Creek strand is active and it has been active in the Holocene, which makes it even more important. So in order to test this hypothesis, we do two different kinds of we have identified two different sites and uh, we collect samples from these areas and we date them. So the first area is the Mission Creek Valley. So we take samples, a bunch of samples from apparently unfaulted alluvial terraces in the Mission Creek Valley region. And basically the date we get out of these alluvium sediments will give us the minimum age for the most recent activity along the Mission Creek Fault, or in other terms, when this fault last ruptured the Mission Creek Valley region. And secondly, we have identified an offset channel, which is just very near to the Mission Creek Valley. We take a bunch of samples across this offset channel just to so as to quantitatively estimate the approximate slip along the Mission Creek Fault. So if you see this figure 3, it shows our study area and our sampling sites. So this is the LiDAR image, and then there are various, and then we have mapped our sampling sites onto this LiDAR images. So long story short, all our samples from the Mission Creek Valley give us really young ages. So these young ages tell us two things. First thing is that this place might be tectonically active. And the second thing is that a lot of active sedimentation is happening in this region because there's a lot of fluvial activity happening in the valley region because you're getting such young ages, and young ages mean that your sediment is getting replenished every season or every year. There's so much sediment coming in here. So so that's one of the explanations, and the other explanation which I give is that normally these young ages would represent an active fault, but the problem in our case is that we haven't been able to locate offset signatures. So whenever a fault ruptures any region, it leaves behind certain offsets. You would either expect to see some scarps or you would expect to see some warped terraces, but we couldn't find any of these features in the area. So it's part of our future work that we want to locate these offset signatures because young ages coupled with offset signatures will give us a very conclusive argument about the activity of Mission Creek in this region. And then the offset channel gives us two different population of ages, a young population and the older population. So there's a bit of confusion there also because if we go by the older age estimate for one of the terraces, then that gives us an approximate slip rate, which is consistent with the slip budget along the San Andreas fault system. So I have shown a very brief calculation about how we calculate, about how we do these slip rate estimates for offset channels and things. So, for our future work, we have targeted both our areas. For the valley region, we want to do a drone survey where we can map this entire region at really high resolution so as to locate offset signatures. And if we are able to do that, then with these offset signatures and with our really young ages, we'll be able to prove or argue that Mission Creek fault has been active, and it has been active in the recent 800 to 1000 year time scale, because those are the kind of ages we got for our alluvium samples. And secondly, for the offset channel side, we plan to do some more sampling on the top of ridges so as to get an estimate for vertical incision rates and the river shift, and to be able to resolve river shifting in a better way over a period of time. Uh, so so that's pretty much our future work, and that's pretty much a brief introduction about my study, which I'm going to present here. So I'll be very happy to answer any questions. Feel free to reach out to me, and I also look forward to discussing this research with you during the physical poster session. Thank you.